I know he's messing around there. There.
Okay.
There it goes. Now watch the difference. Now it comes all the way back.
Okay. Oh.
Wow. All right, so we have Sophie here today. Her owner and mother is Claire, and you're a full-time massage therapist,
Yes.
right? So she's a body person, body work person like me, and I actually went to massage school too. So before I was a chiropractor, I was a full-time massage therapist for 8 years.
Oh.
So I love body work and always been involved with loving that, you know. But anyway, November 22nd was the turning point where Sophie started limping, right?
Yeah, she landed wrong from catching a Frisbee.
Okay. And we can clearly see her left leg is the one, her rear left leg. And you've been doing body work on her, but mostly she's been on the leash for a couple of months now, right?
Yeah.
6 to 7, 8 weeks now. And so we're going to check her from head to toe and see what we find, okay? I always like to ask consent. Can I work with you today, Sophie? What do you think of that? Check with your mom.
She's like, yeah, whatever.
All right, it's worth asking. I mostly do it for me, though, because it kind of reminds me that, you know, I'm moving into her space. So I have to be very polite and respectful. But so let's get started. And I'm up here at the neck first. And there's 7 bones in the neck, just like all mammals except manatees and sloths. I don't know if you know that, but you should listen because there's a test on this after I'm done. And so I'm up at the atlas here. So here's your occiput. The wings of the atlas are huge on quadrupeds. And so here's our atlas here.
Okay.
And that's like this.
Yeah.
The transverse process is the wings. And I'm looking for a space now between the occiput and the space between the wings of the atlas. And they seem pretty even. Sometimes it's wedged up. So it could be wedged up on one side of the transverse process relative to the occiput or the other side. But it's sitting nice. So I'm not so worried about that. I also like to check a little bit for extension. And this is an 11-year-old dog. And it should come up a little easier, and we should go up to perpendicular. So we do get the range of motion, but you see she's jerking a little bit. So I'm going to come in and adjust that first, and then recheck extension. Before I do that, I just want to check down the cervicals. When we get into lower cervicals, and you can feel right here, these lower cervicals have got some tight knots here.
Yeah.
So that's an area you can keep working.
Yeah.
I know you do all this, but just keep working. And that's my area too. So if you want to work on me, you can work on that area. But lower cervicals, I'm always tight. So we all have patterns. We have patterns, right?
Yeah.
So like you'll have a client that you go, yep, it's my left lower back again. Yeah. You know, or there's like my left shoulder again, or whatever their thing is.
Yeah.
A lot of times we have our things repeat.
Yeah.
And so at her age, she's got some lower cervicals. Now, if you come into here, now, may I touch you?
Yeah.
So now we're into this area, right?
Yeah.
So you want to look for those on dogs because that goes down to the front leg. So it's in here. And what's different is there's going to be like a pocket in there, and I'll show you the pocket if we turn her head a little bit. Your fingers can kind of go right down into that space in there. And in horse, I don't know why it's called that, but my veterinarian teachers called that the uglies area, like an ugly area.
Okay.
But my whole hand can go in there.
Okay.
Because their scapula, their shoulder blades, scapulas are on the side of their body in quadrupeds, as for us, they're more flat on the back. So here's our shoulder blades up here.
Yeah.
But if you roll up here, watch my fingers, you'll get into that area. And that area is really good to massage.
Okay.
Okay, so we're up in this area. And that would be like equivalent, this would be analogous to this.
Yeah.
And we all get that, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, into this area.
Yeah.
And that's good for these dogs,
Yeah.
especially as they get older. But remember, I'm going to adjust this area.
Okay.
There it goes. Now watch the difference. Now it comes all the way back.
Okay.
It's already got that. And I'm going to come down. So from here's the base of the neck at C7.
Yeah,
and then we
go
start
in there a lot.
Yeah, and then we start the thoracics, and we have 12. They have 13.
Okay.
Cats also have 13. Horses have 18.
Okay.
But so you're going to find that to be very similar, except the shoulder blades are on the side. So I'm going to come down now and I'm between the shoulder blades. Even on dogs, we'll still call this a withers area.
Okay.
And the horses, we always call that the withers.
Yeah, I used to ride when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
so here's the withers area, which is T3 through T8. Then a horse's saddle would be right behind that. And then the saddle would be in this section. But so now we're at the end of the shoulder blades.
Okay.
And I'm feeling some of this, and she's good in there. And then as we come down here, this area here, in a dog, it's T13 to L1,
Okay.
is that thoracolumbar junction. It's when we're transitioning from the the rib cage area,
Yeah.
the thoracics, to the beginning of the lumbars.
Yeah.
Now they have 7 lumbars, so it's going to feel a little bit longer. But if you follow the edge of the ribs, and now they diagonally come up, but this is your 13th vertebra on your
Okay.
thoracics, and then the first lumbar.
Okay.
And they'll feel a little different too, like the
'cause
spinuses.
They get you can feel the top nub.
Yeah,
there.
the top nub is different, which is the spinous process. But here, watch this. Run your fingers like this, and then they're going to come diagonally up this way. And you're right around the end of the thoracics right there.
Okay.
So what's critical with that, with the quadrupeds, is that's where they typically get the most arthritis, they get the most wear and tear. For us, it's
a big pivot point.
For us, it's L4, L5, or L5S1 is where the most surgery is done on a human, where the discs get blown out, where we have the most wear and tear is the lumbar spine. C5 would be another area for surgery, but that's usually from whiplash accidents and car accidents. But the wear and tear on the human body walking on 2 feet is those last 2 lumbars.
Yeah.
But for dogs, they don't get that as much because they're dealing with gravity a different way. So quadrupeds, whether they're a horse or a goat or a dog or a cat, their most vulnerable area is going to be the thoracolumbar junction where they get the most arthritis. That's where they get DDD, degenerative disc disease, degenerative joint disease, and they're going to have achiness there. And so that area is really important to massage. And here, it's the end of the rib cage, beginning of the lumbars. And you'll find most arthritis. So you have an 11-year-old dog, if we did an x-ray, they'd say, oh yeah, you're getting beginning of arthritis there. It's almost guaranteed someone would say that to you. But this is an area that's nice to manipulate, nice to rub, nice to just thrust in a little bit and just get some motion in there. Now I'm coming down here a little bit more. Let's pull her out a little bit. Yeah, let's stand her up for a second if she'll let us.
Yeah, she'll
and
let
so
you.
now I'm into this area, and this is where I'm going to start adjusting, okay? So I'm going to come into this lower thoracics, T13L1, and you heard a crack already. Did you hear it make a little noise?
Oh.
Wow. Okay.
You're so good, baby girl.
Okay, good. Now I want to see what that left hip is doing. So
Oh man, she's doing the nervous shed. She's dropping hair.
it's okay. It's okay. So now we're going to pick up this left hip, and
Okay, we got it. It's just like when Mama works on it.
And here's the knee. Sometimes it's the knee, sometimes it's the foot, sometimes it's the ankle or the hock. Stifled is the knee.
He's got you.
And I'm going to take the knee out into abduction and then adduction. You can feel the iliopsoas or the psoas. We usually call it more of the psoas with humans, but with animals in the textbooks, you'll see it usually labeled more as iliopsoas.
Okay.
It's the same darn thing.
Yeah.
But it's just more referred. You'll hear vets talk about it. So now I'm
okay?
on the iliopsoas or the psoas. And remember, it's so easy to find the psoas for you as a massage therapist because if you bring the leg up, you'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find-
Right? 'Cause
yeah,
it's
I
a
work
hip
on that,
flexor.
yeah.
And you'll do that same with humans.
Yeah.
You'll have them like, oh, pick your knee up, and then
Yeah.
it jumps into your hand.
Yeah.
So I'm up right now, and this is going to be very tender like it would be on a human.
Yeah.
If you ever want to be kicked by a horse, just touch this
No.
area.
No. Been stepped on them. Don't
Yeah.
be kicked by them.
But you touch their iliopsoas, and they're probably going to want to kick you. I work on it anyway, and just watch
Yeah.
out to be kicked. But right now, I'm in there working. So that's something that's tight on this side, so it's up in here. And if I pull the hip towards you, you might be able to find it. So I'm pulling the hip up, doing a hip flex, and you have to look around for it. But be very gentle because it's going to be really sensitive, especially on your dog. I'm thinking that you're going to really need an x-ray of this back hip.
Okay.
So I think it's a hip injury, not a knee.
Okay.
The knee is moving really nice. And when I saw Sophie walking, she had a really big turnout on the back left leg. So her left leg here, you could watch me guys, was like this
Okay.
and really turned out. I wouldn't be surprised. There could be a little hip dysplasia on that hip.
Yeah,
but
she
there
hasn't
also
really had a problem with
Yeah.
that before.
but she could have it now.
Yeah.
So it's not too late to show up as. So it's funny when I talk about hip dysplasia. Of course, there's like the disease of hip dysplasia, like the whole diagnosis. But hip dysplasia also just means a displaced hip, right? By definition, like if you study the word hip dysplasia. So, like, does she have the syndrome of hip dysplasia? Maybe not. But I feel in this moment from the injury, she might have displaced that hip.
Yeah.
She might have misaligned it. And I'm going to try to adjust it.
Okay.
But I feel like it's not right. And it's also very locked up. And it's what's causing her to have her legs stuck in external rotation. So I'm going to work in here. And I'm going to see if I can adjust it in a minute. But to do that, I'm going to need her on her side with this side up, left side up.
Okay.
We'll do that in a minute. But right now, let me work on it, okay?
We can put her on her side. She's happy on her sides.
So I'm on top of the head of the femur.
Okay.
The femur is much smaller than a human femur.
Yeah.
So human femur is like bigger than a golf ball, right? The head, and it's really clunky and you can feel it. But on a dog, it's like not much bigger than my thumb.
Okay.
Even a big dog like this, they're small.
Yeah.
And they're harder to palpate. But I'm on it right now.
Okay.
And let me just compare it right to left. Yeah, like the right one's in better. The left one's, I think you're going to see on an x-ray that it's really misaligned.
Okay.
But let's see if we can line it, okay? So I'm going to put her on her side.
Okay.
This side down.
Okay,
right
baby.
side down. Good. And it's not dislocated, but it's not sitting nice.
Just lay down.
So now I have to find it again. So here it is. Here, and you can feel it if you squeeze your fingers around here. Not hard though, okay? Let's go soft. So try to replace these two here. That's the head of her femur.
Okay.
Let this pass by. Here, you can hold here still. Come up a little higher so you're on the ball, top of the ball. Softer, softer.
You're okay.
Okay, now I'm going to adjust it if I can, okay? So I'm going to pull the leg. I need to get extension on it. Okay, there's one.
It's okay. It's okay, baby.
Sorry.
Look at me. Yeah, I know. I know. He's messing around. Yeah, that's good girl. Just
I know she won't like this, but I want to finish with this, okay?
That's okay.
Because I can get it to move with this. It's so
okay.
fast.
That's
I
okay.
need the speed of it. So I'm back on the head of the femur.
Oh, she's doing good. I think, you know what? She's just laying down. She's given over to it. She knows.
They can sometimes tell that they're getting some good stuff done.
I know. It's okay.
Cracked again.
Yeah, because you know what?
Okay, let's get her up now.
Because you know what? Whenever I don't let her do things,
It's definitely a back hip.
I grab that leg and I rub on it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you can't do this right now because of this. And she, we think our dogs can understand
Yeah.
us more than we realize, than we're willing to admit. But
Hi.
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry that hurt, but she's going to probably be more tender today. She
Yeah.
might even be guarding that left leg. I'm curious to see what the next 24 to 48 hours are, but I really encourage you to get an x-ray of that back left hip.
Okay.
I think there's something going on with the back left hip. I think it's not perfectly placed. I did what I could to optimize it, so it might be much more aligned than it was before we started. Hopefully it's aligned, then we got it really good. I
Okay.
felt it slip back into a really good position, but
Okay.
the question is, can it hold? Like, she's not putting her left leg down because I just worked the hell out of her.
Yeah.
And she's going to be tender. She'll probably sleep the whole way home. She's going to sleep a lot the next day or two.
Okay, that's
And-
okay because I got to pack up. And
Yeah, and then
we'll
let's
just
see
take
what
a ride
happens.
home.
But you don't have to get an x-ray today, but the sooner you get an x-ray, you're going to know more of what you're dealing with. And then you can always call me and let me know what you find out.
Okay.
But I think that back left hip is your problem. And I don't see, sometimes they tear their ACLs, their knees, but I don't see the knee.
Yeah.
The knee is fine. and she gives me the knee. The knee is not where she winces. And plus the knee wouldn't make the leg turn out. So if it's a bad knee, it's going to be a straight on limp, right?
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
But you got this, the turnout,
Yeah.
because of the
Yeah.
malposition of the
she's-
hip socket.
I think she landed wrong.
Yeah, so I think she
just
knocked
really-
the crap out of her hip.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, everybody, thank you.
Awesome.